another Mortal Kombat 1 video. Hey, what's up guys? Dynasty back again with another MK Uno video because Mortal Kombat co-creator and Other Studios head Ed Boon did another interview, this time with Brian Tong, which gives us a bunch of insight and details on things to come for MK1, including confirmation that just like the Jean-Claude Van Damme skin for Johnny Cage, we will see another skin for some character on the roster using somebody else's likeness. So in the exact same vein as Kerry Tagawa going back to MK11, the classic movie skin pack, there's at least one more skin or character that will be influenced by somebody of some notoriety. Also, confirmation that indeed more 3D era characters like Kenshi from Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance and Deception will be represented in Mortal Kombat 1's roster in some capacity, both probably as base and cameo characters. And lastly, the big bombshell of this interview in particular is Ed Boon confirmed that certain cameo characters in MK1 will be Mortal Kombat characters that have never been playable in previous Mortal Kombat games. Yes, potentially big boss characters like Mataro, Kintaro, maybe Blaze, maybe Onaga, maybe Chronica could be cameo characters in MK1. So if that gets you hyped, please do me a favor, do me a solid here, and take 1 second and drop a like on the video. Again, thank you guys so much for supporting the channel lately. The feedback has been insane. You guys have been showing me so much love and all the MK1 content over the weekend. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you for continuing to support the channel. And again, if you want to see the full interview we're about to break down yourself, it'll be linked down below. I highly suggest checking it out. It's like 15 minutes, and it's kind of funny because in this interview, Boon pretty much leaks, I think, not one but two characters, but they censor the character names. For a split second, you can kind of hear him go, "Muh," and then Brian Tong censors the video, but regardless, I do think it's worth checking out. So shout out to Brian Tong for getting this exclusive 15-minute interview with Ed Boon. So without further ado, let's break this stuff down, let's have some fun, and let's talk MK1. First things first, like I mentioned, another skin will be featured using the likeness of somebody of some notoriety. This is the clip from the interview right here where it's discussed.
Last time I talked to you, you had hinted that there was a facial capture of a character, and it ended up being the movie actor for Shang Tsung.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Kerry
Tagawa.
Yeah. So, is there anything like a surprise thing like that for characters that you're?
We had one, but the cat's out of the bag. It's Jean-Claude Van Damme. It's going to be Johnny Cage.
Which has been trying to go on for years. Right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. We've tried many times, including the very first game. But we're going to get his voice as well too, and which is going to be cool. And there is one that's coming up. That we're not ready to announce, but there's going to be another kind of appearance, and we're going to be that'll be interesting too.
Let the speculation begin. Now, we've already discussed this on the channel even before MK1 was officially announced. There's been some rumors for a few weeks now about John Cena's Peacemaker and Anthony Starr's Homelander potentially making their way to the MK1 roster. But for some reason, I just don't feel like Boon is talking about a guest character, because for all we know, that leak, despite it seemingly potentially being real, again, we don't know completely, but that's potentially a real thing. I just don't think he means for a guest character. I think he's talking about a Mortal Kombat character. Now, does this mean Ronda Rousey's coming back to play the role of Sonya Blade? I hope not. I think in a perfect world, my choice would be Keanu Reeves is Kenshi, but again, just a few years ago, Keanu mentioned how, despite the demand from even Ed Boon himself, he doesn't want to be featured in a Mortal Kombat game, which is so bittersweet. So the options are definitely endless for speculation, but I don't know entirely who he's discussing, because again, he mentions one character in particular. I've seen some articles mentioning how Megan Fox and Travis Scott apparently might also be featured as skins in this game as well, but I think that rumor is pretty much dead in water, I think, as far as I know. Is it another DJ Dimitri Vegas skin? I don't know, guys. The possibilities are honestly endless, because again, we got a DJ Dimitri Vegas skin in Mortal Kombat 11 that nobody saw coming and nobody asked for, just because he made a mix for the game. So let's just open Pandora's box here. Who do you want to see have their character likeness for a Mortal Kombat character and a skin for MK1. And maybe one of you guys can guess this and we'll come back and see who was right. Because, again, I have no clue who he's talking about. So, yeah, one skin using likeness from somebody of notoriety coming soon to MK1. Now, next up, 3D era characters finally returning in Mortal Kombat 1. Check out this clip again from the interview right here.
Are there any cameo characters on this shirt? This is not spoiling. There's 12 here. I mean,
absolutely. Oh my God. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I feel like this is a gimme. Like if I wore like maybe a Deception or like a Deadly Alliance, you'd be like, those are deep cuts.
Well, those 3D era games are going to have a lot of representation in this game. And some characters are cameo and regular fighters, right? Like Kung Lao is going to be both. Sub-Zero, Scorpion are going to be in both rosters and stuff like that. But not every character, but that's going to be.
Those 3D era games are going to have a lot of representation in this game. So again, teasing that all these classic, I'm going to call them classic, man. It's been over a decade. They're classic at this point. Shit, like 15 plus years, 20 years, I think, technically, for like Deadly Alliance. Jeez, we're getting old, guys. These classic characters of untapped potential could be coming back, at the very least, as cameo characters in Mortal Kombat 1. I still think Havoc is probably a lock for the main roster, but I wouldn't be surprised if some of these quote-unquote obscure characters that Boon mentioned in the video from last night with the giant bomb interview maybe are the likes of a Draman or maybe like a Moloch or something weird that we haven't thought about in a very long time. Again, because these possibilities are endless. And hell, if the Dragon King is in this game, maybe he's a cameo character, because again, in the same interview, Boon confirmed that characters that typically aren't playable will be featured as cameo characters in Mortal Kombat 1. Check this out right here.
So Sonya has her kind of classic costume. Jax has his classic costume, Kano. And so we really wanted the cameo characters to be the throwback to the Mortal Kombats that everybody knows. So you're going to see a lot of classic costumes. You're going to see a lot of really obscure cameo characters that are and give you a hint, some that kind of couldn't possibly be controlled characters are going to be cameo characters.
Okay, when you said characters that can't be controlled, meaning what, were not playable in the previous games but appeared in the games?
Yes. And so you're going to have a lot of like we're going to have a long campaign.
These are deep cuts. These are deep cuts.
Deep cuts, really deep cuts.
Cameo characters that were not playable but are cameo characters.
Yes. And so we're going to have a lot of like those really obscure appearances as cameo fighters, and so we're really that's going to be a fun thing to start revealing to people.
Now, before you say, oh, but Motaro was playable in Armageddon, and so was the Dragon King, and so was Blaze and Moloch, and etc. Guys, that game is its own game. Typically speaking, that never happens. You never get a chance to use the bosses in a Mortal Kombat game. That was like the one exception to every other Mortal Kombat game, unless you're playing like an MK Mugen. So initially, when I heard this, and like many others, I thought this meant Motaro. And if you go back to my projections for the Mortal Kombat 1 roster, I mentioned how I thought Motaro and Kintaro would probably be cameo characters. I didn't think we'd see Goro, but again, we got Goro, but Goro's been playable in the past. But those two, we haven't seen playable since Armageddon. I'm excited. Obviously, more recently, we had Kronika. I think Kronika has a bunch of potential as a cameo character as well. I also kind of talked about that a couple weeks ago. The possibilities really are endless. When he mentions like obscure, I think of even like joke characters like Aqua, like Hornbuckle, like Zebron, like Belloc. If you have no idea who these characters are, they are real character names in the Mortal Kombat lore. So, deep cuts, obscure characters. I'm still hoping Draman is featured in there. I mentioned it last night. I want to see Draman using his club. I want to see him throwing flies at people. Maybe Mokap, maybe Meats. Characters that we haven't seen in a long time and characters that have never even been playable. Again, the Dragon King. Even if the Dragon King is the big bad in this game, it wouldn't shock me if he was featured as a cameo character. And if he's not the big bad, again, we've been asking for the Dragon King Onaga since, man, Mortal Kombat 9X. If there was ever a time to make these big bads playable, now is the time. Hell, possessed Shinnok from Mortal Kombat X and Mythologies. Like, the list goes on and on and on. So yes, that is the big bombshell. Not only will we get some classic characters from Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3 as cameo characters, but even characters that have never been playable in Mortal Kombat games before. So let your thoughts and your opinions in the comment section below flow, because I want to see who you guys think. We'll see that's never been a playable character before. Hell, do we see Chrome? Will there be fan-made characters make it in here? What about like Hydro? The list goes on and on of characters that we've never seen. I've seen people suggest Art Lane from the Mortal Kombat original film. I don't think that one's happening, but yeah. Again, the possibilities for cameos in this game truly are endless, and I'm so stoked to see all of this stuff get revealed from now until September. Only a few months, guys, and every day, I'm sure, will be jam-packed of hype stuff like this. But anyways, that's all I got for y'all today. A massive shout out to Brian Tong for getting this 15-minute interview with Ed Boon. Again, it'll be linked in the description down below. I highly suggest checking out the full thing because he discusses not just what we talked about here, but a lot of other things in regards to Mortal Kombat 1's fighting system, the character changes, the origins, the cameos. He goes really in depth, and like I mentioned, he even leaks not one, but I think 2 characters, but sadly, it's censored. So Brian Tong does know some characters that we don't, but obviously, he's not going to let us know who they are. But anyways, guys, if you did enjoy this video, please take 1 second and drop a like on it. Subscribe to some more MK1 content like this on the channel. Till next time, I've been your host. I've been Dynasty. Guys, please take care. Stay safe. I love you. Thank you for all the love lately. It means the world to me. You guys are the best. I love giving you guys the Mortal Kombat news, man. I've been doing it since Mortal Kombat 9, over a decade here, and I gotta be honest, this game is, in my opinion, more hyped than the previous games I've covered on the channel. So, a lot of things happening, guys. Exciting times. I'll see you in the next video.